there's just a misalignment on the
Are
operating
you
system.
talking to it a little bit?
Hello.
There you go. You weren't talking into
Good
it.
stuff.
You're not used to it, man.
I know, man.
Gotta lean in there, John.
I'm used to talking to. Let's see. Make sure I got this. Hello.
There you go. A lot better.
Okay. I want to make sure our levels are right. Hello.
Hello.
All right, we're good.
We're good. Let's rock this shit. Hit record so we don't fuck it up.
We're already recording, brother.
Oh, we are? Shit.
Yeah, sometimes there's little.
I gotta stop
nuggets.
cursing then. I'm getting yelled at too much.
Yeah. All right, you ready?
Let's rock.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Nick, John, and Jamie Show. I am and will always be John.
And I am Nick.
We are in the basement, man.
How you doing, brother?
I'm good.
I actually see you, and we'll do a pound. We won't. We can't handshake anymore.
Yeah, well, we got. We'll have to just take our chances.
Right.
No, but I think that it's a good thing to note that we're not just acting like total assholes. We know each other well enough, and we do make sure that we're practicing. I almost said safe sex, but
well, John, the last time you were a little rough on me, brother.
It is Pride Month. But we know each other well enough. We understand that we are sanitizing, and we're not making sure you got tested. Obviously,
I did,
and thank God you didn't have any issues. So we decided, for the two of us, let's go to the basement and record an episode. And it's been since March.
Second week or third week of March or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. And it was the last time it was me and you.
Yeah. And so I missed it. And Zoom, you're right. We did a bunch of Zoom episodes. We only published the one. We did like 2 or 3, and I'll publish the other ones as soon as we can. But it's one of those things to where there is nothing like having the conversation in the basement and being face to face.
Yeah.
Like there's the thing about Zoom too is that there is no like we do our best not to talk over one another.
Mm-hmm.
You have to really be mindful of that stuff, which makes the conversation sometimes seem a little stiff.
What, in Zoom?
In Zoom.
Yeah, I don't know if it's you're just not getting that like that reaction because you're like face to face with them, and you're getting like somebody says like a witty comment like Jamie usually would. Or we get a little, we grasp it a little better. Maybe I'm not.
No, you get
articulating.
Body language is 70% of the conversation.
Exactly. Man. You know what I mean. So I think that we lose a little bit of that in Zoom, and you lose, and it gets kind of mundane, boring.
Yeah,
that's how I feel when we're doing it together.
Yeah, there's just something in the air when we're in the same room and face to face.
There's not an excitement.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be 2 Spocks, 3 Spocks. It just wouldn't be there, Jerry. Oh, Jerry's not here. Sorry, Jerry.
Jerry did do his best to make it, and same with Jamie. Jamie's actually, I think he was looking at a new house.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, brother.
Not one that he's got to
because
remodel.
I know they probably looked at. God, it has to be over 100.
Yeah. And now there's a sense of urgency because the houses are going
and
quick.
The interest rates are so low. I mean, it would be stupid not to jump on it right now. If you were going to buy a home, I'm not in the position to buy a home right now.
So does that mean the houses are going up?
What do you mean?
Meaning usually interest rates are low and the house prices go up because demand, it becomes a buyer's market.
No, the funny thing is I think they're going up, but not like climbing high because of the situation. So it's like a perfect storm, kind of thing where it's still up higher than normal, but it's not blowing through the water.
It's not mortgage crisis high.
No, but every house that jumps on the market, you have to be ready if you see it that day to put in an offer. You can't wait.
That was like when we bought our townhouse in 2004. Was it 2004 or 2006?
So it was a buyer's market then. Or no, seller's market.
Seller's market. We had to look at houses that didn't even hit MLS yet. And they were gone.
You had to have the inside scoop.
Yeah.
We had one of them right before we bought this house, and we went in. The agent said, "Wow, I got an inside scoop on this." When I know the other agent, we put in an offer. We thought it was a fair offer. Granted, it was about 30,000 less, but what they were asking was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I felt that they were just trying to test it, and we were to test her to see where their house would land.
Mm-hmm.
And they just didn't even counter. And we were like, I was like, how do you not even counter? If you're not even going to counter, then you weren't even really interested about selling your house.
Yeah, or they were so grossly overpriced that they thought if they priced it, there's always going to be a haggle down. What are they willing to haggle down with?
Well, the house was great, the bones of it all, but the kitchen needed to be redone. Literally, the cabinets where the back were coming off, and the septic tank was well over its due date.
Yeah,
of getting, it was like 20-some years old. Usually septic tanks only last about 30 years from what my agent told me.
Yeah.
So we would have to look at that in a couple of years. So that's like $20,000-$30,000.
Yeah.
So we were looking at both, and we're like, all right, they're evaluating it at this. It's great. That would be that if the kitchen was in good shape and the septic tank was in good shape. But you don't know, so...
You just did the math.
We did the math, and we loved the house, but we didn't love it to even... If you're not even going to come back with a counter, then...
Yeah, moving on.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, well, listen, that aside, what I'd like to talk about, and you brought some beers over, we both had the Nugmo from Toppling. We've been ripping through their... we've become Toppling Goliath whores to this date.
Well, you know what? It's sad. This is probably, if you didn't ever have a Toppling Goliath, this is probably a fantastic beer.
Yes, I would agree.
But I've had King Su. We had Sudo Su. There's another one that's
Super Sumo.
Super Sumo. There's a couple other. There's like about 4 or 5 of them that are better than this one.
Yeah.
And you're like, kind of disappointed. It's not a bad beer. It's a good beer, but I'm disappointed.
Yeah, it's like getting living in a penthouse, and then it's like, oh no, we're gonna have to put you in a $400 room a night, at a really nice Bellagio.
Yeah,
and you're like, what the fuck?
Or it's like,
all right, it'll work.
It's like you're Leonardo DiCaprio and you're dating supermodels, and then we're not going to give you a supermodel. We're just going to give you a regular model. It's okay. I'll still drink it. I'll still do it. But the New Trail.
Yes, you brought over New Trail. Talk to it a little bit, man. How did
New
you come
Trail,
across it?
I came across it. Spaz is a beer distributor in Westchester. So hopefully someday they will sponsor us.
If they keep selling
we'll
beer,
sponsor for them. But whatever.
If they keep selling beer like that, then I don't think they'll need our help.
And it was really good. It's there's a bunch of them. This is the only one I had. It's called Broken Heels Hazy IPA. It's extremely delicious. Don't let Beer Advocate fool you. It's only 91 on Beer Advocate. But if I were to rate it, I would put it right below King Su.
It's tasty.
A bunch of other beers. It should be higher. It should be at least a 98.
Yeah,
it's very
what's the
delicious.
ABV?
What is
it
the
6?
No, I think it's a 7.
7%.
7%.
So it'll get you loose too, man.
It gets you loose, and you can enjoy yourself. And it has a smooth taste, no aftertaste. It's very tasty.
Yeah,
I think it's actually better than King Su because I think King Su is a little lighter, and for my type of palate, I like a little more flavorful beer.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I love that about beer. That's what gets me into geeking out about things. When you start to peel back layers and you discover little things that you're like, ooh, this is, and not so much where you sound like a pontificating ass, right? But where you're just like, this is really tasty, It's something about it. And like you said, no aftertaste. It's not like drying the back of my mouth out because it's so hoppy. And to discover like new ones, that sort of sing your song, that's awesome.
And you know what? There's not many IPAs, especially hazy ones. I feel like I could drink on a nice summer day.
Yeah,
this is one of them. I feel like I could.
I'm with you, man.
I feel like it's thick enough, but it's crisp enough where you could, be comfortable with it.
That's a hard thing to do. We're saying it out loud. Be tasty, flavorful, full-bodied, but not heavy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I feel like that it hits almost every bucket.
That's awesome. So Broken Heels IPA,
2 thumbs up.
Hazy IPA, IPA, 2 thumbs up, and it's obviously it's from New Trail.
That beer would get a Stanley for me.
Well, let's not be crazy.
All right, let's get to the show.
All right, so let's just we'll dive into a little bit of news. There was a rumor, and this is a little old. I mean, I came across the article. I remember when it came up, but I think it deserves some chit chat. That the rumor that Henry Cavill's in talks with Warner Brothers to reprise his role as Superman.
I heard that.
I'm stoked about that.
So am I. I think he's a better Superman. I think he's the best Superman. In my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, his Clark Kent could use a little work, but I like it. It's still up there. But as Superman, dude.
Well, that's a bold statement, man. Because if you think about it, Christopher Reeves for the early '80s,
and I love those two movies too. I don't like the
great Clark Kent though, man.
That's the other thing. His Clark Kent is phenomenal.
Yeah,
because he plays that goofy half-wit.
Yeah,
which I think you need. No, but seriously,
I love that word. But hopefully, it doesn't have some real.
It probably does. I'll probably be in trouble or something like that.
If it does, we apologize in advance. Please don't cancel us. Cancel culture.
But if you could combine the two, I think it'd be a perfect Superman. Cause
yes,
he as Superman, you're just like looking at him like, man, that is a specimen.
Yes,
man. That is the man. And he also has that like he hits it to a T, like that Boy Scout. I want to help everybody. That's probably Superman's main kryptonite. Everybody says it's kryptonite. No, his kryptonite has always been and always will be his excessive need to help everybody, no matter who it is.
Well, that was the biggest criticism with Man of Steel, that he was mowing down these buildings, and it wasn't. And when Jonathan Kent dies in the hurricane, it was like that shouldn't be his motive for.
They should have stayed with the heart attack.
Yeah, because that's his. That's what motivates him. That's the part that says, I can't. Even though I'm Superman, I still can't save everybody.
You know what? It would have been cool,
but I'm going to try.
They do the heart attack scene. They put it in the Man of Steel, but they do it in a way where Clark. This is when he's just starting to realize his X-ray vision, and he sees something going on in his dad's heart, but he can't do anything.
Yeah,
he sees it going erratic, and he's just nothing he can do, and he feels helpless.
Yes,
and then that demonstrates his need to help everybody because
I have all this power,
but I can't help the littlest thing. The tornado scene was stupid.
No,
you could zip in and zip out, nobody would know the difference.
Mm-mm. And even if it was what 7 people under a bridge, and
and it's all chaotic. I mean, you lifted up a freaking school bus when you're 12. And you're going to be like, can't do it now.
Kids looking down at you, you know.
I mean, but that's his bad writing. But as the actor goes, I think he demonstrates Superman as I would perceive him.
Yeah.
As I would like to perceive him.
And let's face it, man. The look. Built like a brick shit house. He's got, his chiseled jaw. Stunning, like a handsome man.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, and Brandon Routh, who did Superman right before him, good-looking guy. It's very similar as far as the dark hair and his chiseled jaw and all that stuff. But that movie just shit the bed so bad.
Well, Brandon Routh, he just didn't have that command. Like, Superman has that presence. Yeah. He's Superman. So I caught myself.
You did.
Shan, I caught myself.
Not a big F-bomb.
No, it was close. But where was I? I had a Henry Cavill point.
Yeah.
Darn it.
No, you were saying we were talking about Brandon Routh and how he didn't have that commanding presence.
No, he didn't have that commanding presence where Henry not to sound like I'm gushing over, but he oozes it, man. Yeah. He really does. My favorite scene, and this is one of my favorite scenes in all cinema, even though the movie didn't do great, Justice League.
Yeah.
Where they just finally get Superman back. He's like sitting in front of his statue, and Wonder Woman coming at him. You got all 4 of them coming at him, and Batman sitting from behind, and they're all battling him, and then the Flash is like running behind, and he's like, as he's battling these 3 other superheroes with ease, he's just like, and the Flash is like looking at him like, you can see me while you're doing this. I will say this: it's one of my top 5 favorite scenes, and that's putting it in with Luke, "I am your father," and all that shit.
That's high praise, man.
It's just you can't tell me when you see that scene. It doesn't. It's the only scene in the whole movie that gives you good. That and when what's his face Aquaman sits on the lasso.
Yeah. He starts gushing.
But that's a phenomenal scene for superheroes to demonstrate the depths of Superman.
Yeah, well,
compared to everybody else.
And that's the thing. Like I do love that part too, because there's a moment to where you're like, well, how far are they going to express his power? How far are they going to illustrate it? And there's an awesome version with it's a animated Justice League. I think it's an animated Justice League. Maybe it's an animated Superman. I can't remember. But DC obviously, and Superman is going against Darkseid, and Darkseid is just laying waste to everything.
Darkseid is in that universe the being.
Yeah,
he's like the ultimate foe in that universe. Like Thanos isn't even the ultimate foe in this universe. There's multiple ones, but Darkseid is that.
Well, and they're showing his power. They're showing like how unbelievably badass he is. And then at one point, Superman goes into this little bit of a monologue, and I'm not going to do it justice, but he basically goes, "You don't know how much I have to restrain myself in a world made of paper."
Told me this.
Right? Oh my God! But that's the part, man. That's the part I think when you saw him, do a side glance and say, "Hey, Flash, I see you." That's the part that's riveting. That's the part where you're like, "Holy shit!" Superman's going to go a little dark, and he's going to unleash, and you're like, I'm going to be a witness to that spectacle.
Well, and I also think that's the dilemma of I don't want to go too much into Justice League, but that was the dilemma they fell into with the Justice League. First of all, they did it wrong. They should have matured it over the years with different movies. But to introduce Superman against what was the bad guy's name in that?
Darkseid?
No, Darkseid is the
you're talking about Zod.
No, in the Justice League.
Oh, that was just went out of my head. It doesn't matter.
It's Darkseid's underling.
Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf. I mean, realistically, Steppenwolf might be a challenge to the 4 other ones.
Yeah.
But come on, when you introduce Superman in that, he whooped the shit out of Darkseid, and then went to go save people down the street. I'm like that again. That made no sense to me. Another because you're like Darkseid, not Darkseid. Steppenwolf's trying to destroy the Earth, but you're going to save a school bus full of people down the road.
Yeah,
to stop beating Darkseid.
Yeah,
send the Flash, send Wonder Woman, send everybody else. Go take care of that.
Yeah,
I got this.
You're the muscle.
I got this.
Yeah.
Exactly. He can't hurt me.
Yeah,
he can hurt you people.
Yeah, watch me handle him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, that's a great point.
That's
the crap rating.
But exactly. That's just. I know Superman is the ultimate challenge to write for, but this is why you guys get paid big bucks.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't tell me if Disney Marvel, Kevin Feige, got a hold of DC properties, he would blow it out of the water. He would do it right.
Yeah.
Because Superman's weaknesses, like I said, are his Boy Scout nature. It's his ultimate weakness. And that's what you use your strengths against people. And that's what they should try to focus on.
Yeah.
They don't focus on it enough in these movies that they made for Superman.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's the part that you really have to breed into his story like a character is like it's Batman. There was another animated Justice League. Batman had files on all the members of the Justice League. And somebody had hacked into his computer.
He's the Hoover of his generation.
Exactly. Yeah. He's the super detective. And they started took all the notes that he had and started setting up these things to defeat the Justice League. But it was like
somebody stole
them. It was almost like I can't remember. It was almost like Legion of Doom type of thing. And that is powerful, like the ultimate tactician, the commander over the battlefield.
Good. I haven't had that one yet.
Yeah, this is the super session with the number 4 instead of the number 6, I believe.
This is better than 6.
Yeah, it's got the Centennial hops rather than the. I think it's a Galaxy.
Oh, you definitely can take.
Yeah,
but it's just without. I mean, it's tough. But when you rush to produce these things and try to throw them out there like they did with Batman versus Superman, which should have been such a great movie, and they screwed it up. But
yeah, so Jamie just pinged me. He said I can call in if you want. I said I'll catch up with him in a minute. But
no, I feel bad. I'm like shit.
Oh.
I kind of threw a wrench into the plans, and he's like,
"That's right. We'll record again. No worries." So I would love it if they get good solid writing. They do another Justice League or do something with Henry Cavill as Superman, and definitely stoked for that. I know that I just want to. There's a couple other things in the news that we could go down, but I just want to move on to some other things, and then if we get a chance, we can circle back.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about Justice League enough.
Yeah. So the things that we do want to talk about is basically what we're watching. And then we'll get into, if we have time, we'll get into some of the things we're looking forward to, even though the COVID has pushed everything out. And we can even get into a little bit of some of the things that are being offered up on demand and in theaters too, because Hollywood's supposed to open up New York and L.A. in July.
Isn't AMC starting to in July?
Yeah.
I don't know if around here. By the way, when it does, we're seeing the freaking first movie. We're going, dude.
Yeah.
We're signing that up, dude. But why don't we start off what we're watching? Why don't you go first? Because I already have a couple. We probably watched some of the same things anyway.
So with the movie theaters being closed down and all the stuff that we've been salivating for being pushed out, there's been kind of a drought when it comes to superhero, sci-fi, fantasy genre stuff. Not so much to where you're really you just have to be creative and try and dig for things that maybe you haven't watched before, or maybe rerun something you haven't seen in a long time. But Disney was releasing a movie called Artemis Fowl.
I know. I was into it too. I wanted to see it.
It looked very promising. It had all the elements.
It's based on a book series in the early 2000s that was very popular.
Yeah. And so for the longest time, it was in like production limbo, and it had a lot of issues.
Was it strictly by Disney, or did Fox have it before, and then it's just released by Disney?
I'm not sure if somebody owned the rights before, but I know
Fox seems to have screwed up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and Disney, don't give them too much credit. Disney without Marvel, and Disney without...
No, I agree. Yeah. The last 3 Star Wars movies have just been horrible.
Yeah.
So I can't even bring myself to watch the last 2.
Yeah. No, well, point taken. So I went and I don't know if it was because I was starving and just to play, like, what's his name? Eddie Murphy said many years ago, you know, if you're starving and you have a cracker, that's going to be the best damn cracker you ever had in your life. And so with this deficit of movies that were, you know, that haven't been released, I jumped in and I got Artemis Fowl. It stunk. It was bad. It was really bad.
The guy that you sent the clip over to the reviews of?
Yes.
I was like actually going to, like, even if he says this bad, I'm going to watch it. This dude ripped it up. Ass.
I wish I could say that he had, so we're talking
about... He exaggerated it a little bit just because he had a hard-on for it. No. Yeah. From what you told me, it was spot on. Probably he even gave him a little more credit than he should have.
Yes. It was one of those things where... And I think it's Chris Stuckman.
He ripped into that kid, too. And he even said, I feel bad for this kid, but he was horrible as an actor.
It was really bad. It wasn't... he was really hard on the lead actor, and I've seen worse. I'm going to say I've seen worse when I saw Episode 1 and young Anakin Skywalker.
Yes, but he wasn't the main focus of the whole episode. That's the difference.
True. You're right.
That's the difference. Right. Yes. Anakin, that kid, that whatever, I forget his name, played him.
Yeah. Poor kid. He didn't. I'm sure he didn't deserve. He's a kid. He didn't deserve a fraction of the age.
George Lucas can't direct young actors. Enough. He got lucky with the 3 he got in the beginning. He did.
Yeah.
You got a world around. We talked about it through.
Yeah. But the review that you're talking about, or the reviewer, was Chris Stuckman. I subscribe to his YouTube channel.
I gotta do that.
I agree with a good amount of what he says, and but even though I saw his review, there's been times when he's done a review and I just had a differing opinion. So I was like,
no, I mean,
let me just give it a chance.
It's like you ever Caddyshack. Caddyshack is an all-time favorite movie, right? It's an awesome movie. But when it first came out, a dog. The critics gave it bad scores. Now it has great scores because over the years, people have grown up with it, gave it great scores. But it's like anything else. I mean, just because one person doesn't like something doesn't mean another person won't.
It's true. It's like the beer we're drinking too.
That Broken Heels.
Some people rated it lower, and you would have rated it higher for sure. But with Artemis Fowl, it is a story that seems ripe for adventure and intrigue and entertainment. And yes, it is a popcorn movie. I was thinking it's at the very least it'll be like a really good high budget Spy Kids. Or like or maybe like a Percy Jackson or something like that.
What I don't understand is,
but it was not.
You have a good book series with it, and you have a ton of good actors, except for the main.
Yeah.
Why would you just go cheap on it,
dude?
They spent like $120 million on this project.
$125 million. They had good talent too. They had Judi Dench. They had Colin Farrell. They got Josh Gad.
Who's that? The guy from Game of Thrones, the black guy.
Oh, that's Nonzo.
Oh, he's an awesome actor.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And it was just, I like cartoons, but not in my movies.
No.
And it was cartoonish.
No interest. I'm glad I didn't. I was right before you told me you watched it, and it was poo-pooed. And I really trust your judgment on 99% of it. I don't think we're too far off. I was like, nah, I'm not even going to waste my time. I don't have that much time, so I'm not wasting
it. Dude, and bravo, because this would have been a waste of your time.
You know why I believe this? Because I just watched Ad Astra, and you told me months ago not to do it, and I did it.
Yeah.
And, to jump.
Yeah,
that's what I watched
recently. So I think we're pretty good on not watching Artemis Fowl. Watch it if you feel like it, but I didn't enjoy it at all.
Yeah. And so to go on my take on Ad Astra, real quick, I know John gave his take 2 months ago? Who knows?
Yeah. It's all blur.
It was very boring. There was no real point to the movie. They didn't have any levity in it, which I don't think you need a lot, but when you're playing this kind of ultra serious role, you need something.
Yeah.
Something. If I had to pick one thing that was cool in the movie, maybe the fight scene on the moon.
Yeah.
It was all right. I kind of dug it a little bit, didn't quite understand it, but at least it was something that nobody's tried before.
It was pretty bleak.
Yeah. It was very bleak, and I just felt like I thought they had an opportunity to at least wrap it all up, because at the whole movie... Spoilers. The whole movie, they're going through this, the beginning of it, Tommy Lee Jones leaves on a super secret mission, or not secret, but super mission to go right outside the edge of our solar system, because they can image the universe in a way where we can't inside our solar system. It's just there's something that holds us back from discovering intelligent life outside, because we're something I don't know what it does. They explained in the movie, but I can't do it justice, so I'm not going to try. So he gets out there with this crew of like 50 people, whatever, and their mission is to photograph the universe, try to discover if there's any other intelligent life through the universe. So something goes awry, and then they go unheard of for 10, 15 years, maybe. Something like that. I don't know. And then Brad Pitt, is his son, decides to follow in his father's footsteps, and, and he's doing this great job, but, they're not going that far out in space anymore. They kind of want to stay in local to our Mars and inward.
Yes.
So something happens where these, this radical what is it called? Antimatter bursts are coming at Earth.
Yes.
From the area where that was last seen of their spacecraft. So they decided to use Brad Pitt to get in touch with his father via communication through Mars.
Yep.
So he goes there, he gives him this communication, and they get something back, but they don't tell Brad Pitt, and then they decide to send somebody out there to blow him up. Brad Pitt sneaks on, the whole crew dies, but Brad Pitt doesn't. He gets out there, and he figures out that his dad pretty much killed everybody on that crew, and that spacecraft is crippled, shooting...
He lost his marbles.
Right? And they're saying they couldn't find any intelligent life. So Brad Pitt helps get his dad. Was going to save him. His dad sacrificed himself. Killed himself. Brad Pitt comes home with the information. The end.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. I thought at least if Brad Pitt came home with the information and they made an ultimate discovery that they missed out there, that there was other civilizations. They just missed it in their information gathering.
Yes.
That would have been something.
Yeah. It seemed, like I said...
So anticlimactic.
Yeah.
They just went for the visuals.
The visuals were amazing.
They were. But how believable was it really? Because you're talking about Brad Pitt. He's trying to get from one spacecraft to another to go through a ring, right? Mm-hmm. And he breaks off a shield and he just takes a guess to shoot across. I mean, yes... In fantasy world, that looks great, but realistically, when you're dealing with out in space, the odds of you hitting that without appropriate calculations are fucking 1,000,000,000 to 1.
Dude, I just yeah. Well,
and hoping that there's no big rocks in that thing that a shield could just. Yeah, I mean, it's funny to me.
Yeah, dude. If you ever, I saw this video and it was. They talk about what happens if you're out in space. And how the gases or the liquids in your body start to evaporate. Yeah, I texted Jamie. I just sent him a text and it said the message failed. I must have I got no service down here.
No, I got it.
Through. So it's pretty horrific.
And he texted, "Okay, you wearing a mask?"
But it's pretty horrific, and that should be interesting things to explore. Like, what really happens? Not what Hollywood happens, but what really happens when you get faced with the brutality of physics and space.
And one more thing. Tommy Lee Jones was stuck up in that spacecraft for like 15 years.
Yeah. Maybe he's eating his crew.
Come on, what kind of effect would that have on a body, not just a mind?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Your muscles and bones atrophy.
There's no way you could stay in zero gravity for 15 years. Yeah. I just don't think it's even physically possible.
They say your body... like the astronaut who's got an identical twin brother.
Oh, his DNA changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. Think about what happened when you're way back out by Pluto.
Yeah, right? It just doesn't make sense. The whole movie was...
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense.
I wanted it to be good.
I did like the elevator scene because I think that is a viable source in the future to do an elevator from Earth to space.
Yes.
I like that scene. But outside that, and then the moon thing, it just made no sense.
Yeah. That was the other thing, you look at all these little nuggets that can make these movies great.
Well, it's like if you're gonna make a sci-fi movie, make a sci-fi movie because you can twist the facts a little bit about space technology. But if you're going to do a movie like Ad Astra, where you're kind of trying to hold to science, make it believable, brother.
Yeah, has some serious consultants in there.
Yes, it just seemed like,
Yeah.
it didn't make any sense to me.
So we're both in agreement. PU.
Oh, God, horrible. Can I talk about... I do want to touch base on a show that I know you watched and I watched, and I was pretty hyped up on. Upload.
Yes.
Pleasantly surprised. Now, this was the reverse of Ad Astra. Didn't have much thought going in. Got good reviews on whatever, Yep. But I'm like, do I really want to go watch something about an afterlife? I don't really care, But I like the take on it. It was pretty clever.
What did it remind you of?
What do you mean?
Did it remind you of anything else? Like, it reminded me of where they have the sleeves That one on Netflix, Carbon.
Alternate Carbon?
Altered Carbon.
No, if anything, it would probably remind me of Heaven-like Matrix movie.
Yeah.
Like, because they upload. You upload in the Matrix.
But if you're going to go religious, and I don't think we should dive too deep on this because that could be a treacherous thing. But if you're going to go religious, right, that most religions believe that you die and your spirit goes, you shed the mortal coil and you go to heaven or the afterlife, whatever you believe in.
Right.
This is saying if you die, then the digital version of all those neurons and synapses has now been captured and configured and then recreated in a virtual reality.
But is that...
We're going to go heavy here.
But is that impossible?
But does that mean your soul went and you're just a carbon copy?
No, I don't think so. I think one just I think I'm a believer in an afterlife.
Yeah.
But I also believe that God put the tools in here for us to live forever if we so deem it. And this could just be another way to live forever. Or just a different kind of way than we think.
But that's the silliness sometimes when people start to talk, and I'm going to tread lightly, when people start to talk about religion, they're like, oh, no, once your body leaves, then your soul goes someplace else.
Well,
if
they're
you could recreate it,
they're
right?
hardliners. And I think it's just like if you go back 700 years before this, the earth was flat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there was no ifs, ands, or buts. The earth was flat.
Yeah,
you go either farther back than that, then they believed in goddesses, and they believed that, in ancient Egypt they had heads of wolves, and you know what I mean. So, I mean, as we grow as a society, as we grow as a race, I think our perspectives change over time.
Dude, do you want to hear something crazy? And I agree with you. I think that we're constantly evolving as far as our understanding of the world around us.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Existentially too. But people are capturing and talking about primates in today's world becoming more and more intelligent, using tools, using logic.
We're also teaching them too. So, but it's not like they're just picking us up on their own. We're actually physically grabbing an ape or a chimpanzee and showing him how to do things, keep showing him, and eventually they learn.
Yeah.
But they're not picking this stuff up on their own.
Some of them are, dude.
Are they? Or are they just imitating?
There's an orangutan. Maybe. You could be right. But that's the first step. Think about evolution, right?
Right.
280,000 years ago or whatever.
Darwinism.
Yeah, there's a evolution that happens. That's why people become stronger and faster and more intelligent,
it's
adaptive, things like that. So who's to say in another 100,000 years, if we're still on this planet as a species, that the apes haven't evolved into what we are?
Then what will we be?
That's an awesome question, right? Make a movie about that shit.
Yeah, right. But getting back to Upload.
Yes.
I thought it was pretty great. I after watching a couple episodes, I got sucked in, and it helped that it's only 20-minute episodes, 30-minute episodes. It had a lot of levity in it, but behind the levity, there was a serious question like we just talked about. I liked the main character. I liked how through the show, he finds more about himself that he didn't know. I think there's more there, as I hope there is a season 2, because I really dug it. They get into all kinds of technology we think is probably going to be available in 20, 30 years, driverless cars, all that. Yep. I love how there's a mystery to be solved. I like how you're rooting for one person, then you're rooting for another person. I like his best friend in the lieutenant or Luke. Mm-hmm. The guy Luke, I love that guy.
He's great.
I really have a feeling you're gonna find out that guy was a super a super soldier. He was a war hero that everybody knows, but they just call him Luke, so nobody really knows who the hell he is.
That would be cool.
I really think it's something like that.
That would be so cool.
I really do. And then there's also
you're talking about if they had a deep cut nod to Star Wars.
What do you mean?
Like you said, is David? I thought maybe I misunderstood where you were coming from.
No, I just thought he was. I think he plays a bigger role. His life outside that upload, his regular life where he lost his legs.
Yes,
I think he was like a war hero.
I see.
Like a huge war hero that everybody knows, super famous.
Yeah,
but he downplays it when he's in there because he doesn't want anybody to treat him differently.
That would be interesting.
You know, and I like how the cigarette man from X-Files is like a huge bigwig.
Mm-hmm.
And he told him, like, in the second episode, he told him, he said, dude, you were killed.
Yeah.
You created something that threatened the fabric of this, a $600 billion industry. Yeah, you were killed.
Yeah, yeah, because he's like one of those big uber riches, like the Koch brothers.
But he was also a very big politician, too, or it sounded like, anyway.
Like that, we know who that person is in real life.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we don't know him personally, but we're like, oh, that's the archetype, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I enjoyed it. And you hit it all. We share the same sentiment. It was entertaining. Had like good juicy little sci-fi nods into like future tech. Asked some morality questions, and then also sort of makes you ponder a little bit. That's Robbie Amell, by the way. That's Stephen Amell's brother from Arrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
it just nailed a lot of buckets. Even the end, it's like it wasn't like a huge like jaw-dropping cliffhanger, but you know he ends up in 2G.
Social commentary there.
Yeah, and right. And then as he's ending up in 2G, he finds out his ex-girlfriend kills herself, or I don't know if she killed herself, but she ended up in there.
Yes.
You know, and he didn't even want anything to do with her. He was trying to get away from her.
Yeah.
But you find out that, I think you're going to find out more. He's like, right now, he's doubting himself, thinking he was selling everybody out. But I don't think it's just that. That was just one clip of it.
Yeah.
It didn't answer the question if he actually did. He just proposed to his father-in-law, how much would it be to give you these codes? He didn't actually say, here's the codes in the memory. I mean, every time you hear a proposal, even if you're like in your mind, you're thinking, there's no way I'm going to do it. At least we're going to hear this guy out.
Yeah.
Make him think I'm interested to get him off my tail.
Of course.
Who's to say that didn't happen?
Yeah.
Because he seems like, even when he gets in there, it's not like getting in there changed him automatically. His first day, he felt like he was, even when he was flashbacking, he was a decent guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Cares about his family, cares about all this, you know?
Yeah, you're going to root for him because he seems like he has a moral compass that's aligned with doing good.
Yeah, so I just don't think getting uploaded changed that moral compass to automatically good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's exactly what they portrayed, which is they erased some memories so he wouldn't remember about exactly that, you know, giving up or having the keys to topple a multi-billion, potentially $trillion.
You know who I like? Nora's fine, but I really like her dad because he adds a little dynamic into it where he makes everything like... He puts it in terms where you can understand things. Like when she's first talking about the boyfriend, the guy she dating on just having sex with on the side, he goes, how do you know he's not a bad guy? Just because you have flings with him and he gave you a 4-star instead of 5? Did you actually get to know him?
Yeah. You
know, and then she starts getting to know. And then when she finds out the bad stuff about our main character, I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now.
Yeah.
That he has a bad side. He's not perfect. He might have a bad side. Mm-hmm. She goes, so what? He's did one bad thing. I got a good vibe from him. I think he's a good guy. I think he just made a wrong turn. Mm-hmm. And he puts it back into perspective.
Yeah.
You know, for her anyway. Because she kind of like jumps off the deep end of things.
Yeah, it's got some nice twists and turns. It's a fun, entertaining, interesting show.
Fun and entertaining. It's not going to blow your mind. And it's not meant to. It's a nice little clever take on, you know, what could possibly be a futuristic situation.
Yes. Yeah. So definitely, I recommend. You recommended it. I recommended it. I think it's a fun watch.
I think so too.
For sure. And I know we're running short on time. We got places to go and people to see. So just quickly, I'm going to talk about one other thing that I saw. Actually, I'm not going to talk about that because it's not really sci-fi genre, but I do want to talk about this one thing in video game news.
Oh, the PS5?
Well, the PS5 is going to be hitting for this year, supposedly, for the holiday season. So they did do an announcement and they had a bunch of excuse me. They had a bunch of trailers strung together to showcase the games that are coming out.
The graphics, the design, and all. Yeah.
Then I think there's 2 versions that are coming out.
But here's my question: I'm not big into gaming like you and Jamie are.
Yes.
But I will say this: after playing the VR system that I did with you and your son has, what does it matter about this shit? Who wants to pay $800-900 for a PS5? A, that's going to be outdated in about a year or two when everything goes streaming for games. And then also, B, when you can play VR.
You are singing my song, and if we rehearsed this, we couldn't have done a segue that was even better.
Because we didn't.
Star Wars Squadrons.
Looks badass.
And they're doing a VR version.
Of course. What would you rather play, the VR version in a squad? Oh, yeah, hell
dude,
yeah.
I'm reading through the description in this review of what this hype review for all things PS5, and they're talking about what's compatible, and then I stumbled onto this Star Wars Squadrons, and I'm looking to see. I'm looking through, and they're talking about that. This is what it's going to be about, and it's kind of a new way of gaming. And of course, it's going to be cockpit style. Either you're part of the Alliance or you're part of the Empire.
Which is all cool.
It's right after Return of the Jedi, so it's still got a lot of that
good nuggets in it.
Yes, it's still close to my heart.
So, just real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So a lot of this stuff is not going to be going too far in the future because they don't want to go there anymore.
Well,
I'm just saying in general. I don't want to get into but go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, I don't think that Rey's going to be a pilot or a Finn or anybody like that. But anyway, you are. Just from the visuals and some of the cutscenes, they didn't show gameplay, but I am stoked for the idea. And I'm not like a flight simulator guy.
Neither am I. I'm more of an action, like on the ground type of guy.
Yeah, but it seems like it's going to be fast paced, high action. You're doing dogfights with, it depends on what side you're on, either your Empire or the Alliance, or the Rebellion. And it's like, it looks cool, man.
It does.
It looks very cool. And I remember putting on that headset for Vader Immortal and holding a lightsaber in my hand and looking around the inside of the cockpit, because when you see it in the movies,
I didn't see the lightsaber, but I was watching inside the cockpit. Oh, fantastic!
It's amazing. Yeah. It's like yes, I've seen the scenes that I've seen in all these movies enough to where I can get an idea, but it's like I've never looked behind Chewie's chair inside the cockpit.
No.
I've never soaked it all in to where I'm like totally immersed in this VR experience, and that's what I'm hoping they pull off this really cool epic gameplay, hopefully maybe a story mode, and then VR experience for
I 100% agree. I just don't understand where Xbox and PlayStation are going with this, because VR's out there and streaming networks are coming online with their own game system, with their own streaming systems. I mean, soon it's not even going to be an option. It's just they've both announced that this is the last game systems they're going to be putting out there. So I mean,
double down on whoever's the king of VR right now.
Yeah, and
Oculus
streaming
probably.
Too. Streaming.
Yeah,
streaming's going to be it's probably the next big thing in video games.
Yeah, and they're doing some AI stuff, and I talked about this a little bit before, to where they're actually not putting as much dependence on the chips, on the processing speed and things like that, even on PCs. So they're going to try and preemptively do what they think you're going to do before it even hits your console in milliseconds. It
anticipates.
It looks awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm stoked for this brave new world of VR and the gaming. And that's it for this week's episode of the Nick, John, and Jamie Show. Nicholas, this was awesome.
It was awesome.
It was so awesome.
As soon as we cleared it, I was like, I'm out.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll be able to do this on the regular and be back in business of being in the basement on the regular. And so thank you, everybody, for joining us for this week's episode of the Nick, John, and Jamie Show. Please be sure to subscribe and do all the subscribey scribes and the likey likes. And have an awesome week.